I honestly can't get enough of sci-fi content. It's both exciting and wild that there could be a different galaxy that exists out there. Vagrant Queen does exactly this for us. It takes us on an adventure that is both wild and seemingly dangerous and is filled with chaos on every corner. I can't Vagrant Queen is a drama sci-fi comedy series that follows former child queen Elida, who is now Elida, and her friends Isaac and Amae as they travel through the galaxies, helping Elida save her mom, as well as her home planet Areopa, which has been taken over by her nemesis Lazaro. Now, this series was unfortunately cancelled after it aired just one season, which premiered on March 2020. This was because of low ratings. Now, I'm just wondering what you think about it. Do you also think it should be revived, maybe with a different strategy this time?
Yes, so Vagrant Queen, I think it was quite premature to cancel it out. It could have taken time. It has it seems like a series which is much more appealing to kids, and kids need something that says that's so wow to them, and it brings out the inner fun in them, So I think that's one aspect of it. But in terms of storyline, not everything's gonna appeal to adults. Not everything's gonna appeal to adults, unfortunately, So I think it was quite premature for it to be canned. But hey, anyways, what do you think of the storyline?
I think definitely exciting. We have three things that are spotlighted. We have, first of all, a woman of color who is represented in a lead role, and also the queen, who's taken over the throne from her dad. And I guess we're also seeing the support really for a female who is taking over a throne. And we know the politics of royalty. It's always, men are the ones that are expected to be the heirs. So if there's a woman who's an heir, it's kind of like, oh, let's maybe have her cousin kind of thing. So it's really exciting to have, and although it's like science fiction, but just to have that kind of narrative that's put across. It's big on women empowerment. And the second thing, you have a black woman who's a lead character. That's very exciting, especially again because it's sci-fi. You don't really see a lot of black people in sci-fi. Yeah. I know there was a big excitement. There was a lot of excitement surrounding, was it Star Wars, when they had Joe Boyega, who was in there, and it was exciting for the black community, because we do consume sci-fi content. So it's we also want to be represented in these things. And then thirdly, of course, the LGBTQI community with Amae and Elida's relationship. So for me, those are the things that have been really important surrounding the storyline. So I enjoyed it for that, we're looking at very different themes that are coming up. But I think also maybe with the storyline, it could have been a little bit stronger, if I'm being honest. I think it could have been a little bit stronger. Or maybe let's just compress it to a movie, then I would have enjoyed it. But as a series, it just felt like, can we just get to the point where Elida takes over the throne again, and then, after fighting all this evil and all this chaos and all these opponents, she takes over and is able to then rule this, dystopia that they've created. Maybe lacked a little bit.
Also, I think as well, to add on what you're saying, with regards to the storyline, it also shows how revolutions can turn out to become a tyranny. I agree with you when you talk about the storyline. The entire storyline there's sort of a bit of a meandering about, it takes a bit of time for them to get to the climax of each episode, and sometimes they dwell too much on a single thing. Guys, really, how long does it take for you guys to just find out who actually kills people in a small ship, really, guys, inside a limousine, who killed this person? Is it you? Wow, Yeah. But in any case, I just love the fact that sci-fi, we never get to really see much of sci-fi that has to do with galaxies. Star Wars took the cup, Star Trek followed in their foot. but we don't really see series that really dwell on such issues, you know.
True.
And considering the fact that it's black people, yeah, I was amazed, and I was at awe, you know. I was at awe, and it's quite amazing to see that we have been growing this momentum of representation and creativity, you know. I love that aspect. But in any case, in terms of characters, man, it's quite a mixture. It's quite a mixture of seasoned actors, legends, and upcoming, you know, rising stars. So I love that aspect, that you have this mixture and they're doing so well. The chemistry is so strong, you know.
I guess for me, I followed it and then I got a bit confused as far as I think accents were concerned when, you know, our South African actors, thespians came on, you know. The character that was played by Dumi Morake, I just forgot her name.
Yeah.
You know, she had an accent and I was like, okay, but this is like in another galaxy, but the accent was very like American. I think that's what was confusing for me. It was like, okay, there's a bit of like an American twang coming on there.
It was Afrikaans, not
Was
American.
Afrikaans?
Yes.
Okay, my bad. But yeah, even that, it's like,
Yeah.
it's a bit bizarre, you know. I didn't really quite get it. I think there were moments where I was like stuck in, this is a bit of like real life kind of thing. Like, okay, we have aliens, but some of the aliens are very human looking, so I couldn't really like reconcile that, you know. It didn't, I struggled to make sense of that. Like, give me a forehead that's like ridiculously big, you know, like give me a nose that's like pointy, or like just is a full face but like looks like human but isn't. If you're just playing with ears and stuff like that, like very subtle kind of changes to the human like characters, you know, for me was a bit confusing. And then I was like, okay, but you guys all speak English, couldn't you have made up a language? You know what I mean? That for me is like, if you're saying sci-fi, really, like, let's make it sci-fi. You know what I mean? Let's have a language that these people speak, that only they understand. Give us subtitles. Like, I think that for me would have made it even more exciting, and I would have been even more invested in the idea of it being sci-fi. But it just was like, it's just an ordinary thing. It just so happens that they're in outer space, and because it was like, you're in a different galaxy, no way that all these people speak the same language, especially because there was an actual especially because there's a human being from Earth, from our galaxy, who's there, and they speak some things are like, okay, the fact that it's sci-fi means it needs to be far-fetched, so let's make everything about it far-fetched, you know. So that was like my only gripe with it. But I did really like enjoy seeing our South African thespians on there. I was like, oh my gosh, they're so amazing, you know. Like you wouldn't even, just watching them is as if they, like, every single actor on there like just came from the same country, and you know, there was just so much like good chemistry, I think, that I saw between them, that you wouldn't really be able to tell that these people actually come from different parts of the world. And I enjoyed that about it. I think the personalities themselves, the characters that they played, I guess they were just ordinary. There wasn't anything that like made me excited about any of the characters, of course, except Elida and, you know, what she represented in her role. But all the others, I wasn't really like blown away by any of them.
Really?
No, it was just, okay, a villain who has like whatever issues with the throne, and then tries to take over and create something different. But there wasn't anything like spectacular. So yeah, I mean, there was a lot of action. It was very action packed, I think, which is also quite typical of sci-fi content. Thoughts on the visuals as far as that is concerned, like the action there?
I loved the computer generated images, spacecraft, the environment, you know. I'm just not happy. The makeup, I'm happy with it. The makeup, you know, how some creatures would seem. But I wasn't really happy with regards to how humanoid other species were. Like, guys, you can't be saying there's rodents, but you can clearly see human being, this one, you can just walk on your feet.
You see what I mean? Like, some things just were not They just
they were
didn't
not
make
spot on.
sense. Yeah, they just
so
didn't make sense.
I wasn't really happy with that, but in terms of everything, the use of blood, you know, the imagery of blood, the imagery, the action, and the lasers, you know, like it's not look over there.
It's not that. I will say, like, I'm not very like familiar with the quality as far as you know that part of, I guess, sci-fi is concerned. So to me, it looked good. I was convinced. I was like, okay. When they point the gun and the laser beams go out, it's like impact. I mean, you know, there's no delay. It doesn't look like a low budget kind of thing. No.
Yeah.
So for me, it was exciting to watch as far as, you know, that action was concerned. I think though maybe they overused the slow-mos, slow-mo, not really slow-mo, but like the freeze frames. I think they overused the freeze frames a little bit. Oh, and I will say also it was a bit annoying, although this is not related to visuals and stuff like that, but it did become a little bit redundant or annoying that, you know, like when they remind you that this is not your galaxy. I was like, okay, I get it. After like 2 episodes, I was like, okay, I get it.
I get it.
This is not my galaxy. This is a planet somewhere
Another galaxy,
else.
not yours.
Yeah. At first it was funny, you know, like you were reminded that this is a comedy. And then it was like, okay, this is overkill. Overkill.
This is such a series for geeks.
I think even geeks will say no, thank you.
Never.
This is too
we would
kitsch.
enjoy it. We would enjoy it. I believe we would enjoy it. It's quite nice. It's quite nice, you know. But yeah, it does have those cringy moments, and it does have those guys. Okay, you've been overdoing it, you know, like such things, you know. Not your planet, not your galaxy.
Yeah,
really, you know. I mean, we didn't see that in other sci-fi movies, which we've mentioned earlier on, you know. But in actual fact, how many Biltong sticks would you give it?
I would give it 3, a solid 3, you know, because, you know, like I said, I'm not very familiar with like the sci-fi world that much. I watch it for entertainment, but I was like entertained, except for the little, you know, moments where I was like, okay, overkill, this is reminding me of Guardians of the Galaxy, except for those moments. But yeah, I think it's really worth a season 2. Yeah. What do you think? How many Biltong sticks would you give it?
Before I rate it, I would just say research is key, you know, and breaking into such a dominated market is not easy. But I would also give it a solid 3, you know, in terms of holistic presentation and in terms of the acting, you know, the acting, the scripting. There's some annoying aspects of it, but in any case, just a solid 3, and I think it deserves a season 2, you know. I think Canada, South Africa, please come together again.
Let's do this.
Let's do this, guys. You know, the collab is massive and it's amazing, and thank you for showing South Africa in such a good light, you know.
Although we didn't really see South Africa, we just know that it was filmed in Cape Town, but there's nothing that you can point to and be like, oh, yep, definitely Cape Town.
The actors.
Okay, the actors.
Thank you. Yeah.
The
So,
actors.
but it just shows such amazing work, you know, when you collaborate with other people and you do the best to your abilities. And it's sad that it wasn't even aired in South Africa.
Yeah.
That's a sad part. It hurt
But
me.
at least now we can get it. We know where to find it.
Yeah.
We know where to find it. So if you've also seen Vagrant Queen, let us know what you think about it. And do you also feel that we should actually have a season 2? Maybe let's do a petition. Get a season 2, give them an opportunity to show us even more, because I would like to know what happens to Elida's mom when she comes back to Earth.
I'd love to see that. I was like, oh my god, they're coming to Earth.
I'd really, really love to see this. So definitely let us know. Drop your comments in the comment section down below.
And if there's a South African or African film series or documentary which you would like us to review, please let us know in the comments below. I'm Gomo.
And I'm Dumi. And this is the Biltong Review. Thanks for watching.
You must stay.